Welcome back to ECW 2006, and we are here with episode number 40 of CyberSlam, which begins with a video package looking back at the events from last week's show, an episode which began with a brawl between Rhino and CM Punk and ended with Paul Burchill picking up a dominant, decisive victory over Tommy Dreamer. As a result of the events of that match, Tommy Dreamer is not at the building tonight and will be out of action for an unknown period of time. After the commentators introduce the show, they send over to Steve Corino, who is stood by with the rest of the Extreme Horsemen. Corino puts over the victory of Burchill last week, reveling in the fact that Tommy Dreamer was taken out of action just like everybody else who has crossed them in the past. He then switches attention to tonight's main event, with Stevie Richards facing CM Punk in singles competition. Corino promotes the great month that the group have had ever since November to Remember, saying that tonight they put the exclamation point on it with a victory over the ECW World Champion. It's a good promo from Steve Corino. I've said recently we need to rely on him to be that one level below the main event guy, and he's certainly delivering on that in the last few weeks. Ever since Sabu was fired and Rodham was taken out, Corino has been putting in consistently good performances. We then get a recap package of the situation involving the FBI, Little Guido and Tony Mameluke. At November to Remember, they had a match, Mameluke defeating Little Guido in a match which only caused further tension between the two. Guido had claimed that the issues were now water under the bridge, but last week requested this match with Mameluke, perhaps suggesting that things weren't quite over between them. Little Guido picks up a victory over Tony Mameluke in 10 minutes and 23. Another even match, just like it was at the pay-per-view. Tonight, though, there is a difference maker as Chuck Palumbo makes his ECW debut and screws Tony Mameluke out of the victory. His involvement helping Little Guido to the victory. That is surely the end of the FBI. Guido and Palumbo then stand tall in the ring, the commentators understanding fully why he had requested that match. He was going to get the win no matter what because he had a plan B in the shape of Chuck Palumbo. Tony Mameluke rolled out the ring to the outside as they stood tall. Trinity checked on Mameluke on the outside, looking towards Guido in the ring. It was clear that she was just as in the dark about this plan as everybody else. Heading to the back, there's been another attack with CM Punk shown at the feet of Rhino. Paul Heyman has caught wind of what's happening and is furious with Rhino. He chastises him as he is taken out of the building. Rhino responds by suggesting that Heyman is looking out for his new golden boy again, but Heyman claims that he is simply interested in the main event going ahead as planned. The second match of the night sees the Havana Pitbulls beat two local talents, JC Ryder and Icarus. It's a 3-minute 1-second match. It's a dominant victory for the Havana Pitbulls. Rocky Romero with a 61 head and shoulders above everybody else. Ricky Reyes with a 44. There's some distance between them two, but they are doing okay as a tag team. Icarus the weak link, but he's a local talent, so it doesn't matter. After the match, despite being a lone wolf in the locker room, nobody on his side after his association with the Hustle, Xavier shows no signs of being deterred in his war with the Hustle, his position obviously untenable by this point following recent events. Xavier wants revenge on Ricky and Rocky, who attacked him the previous weeks on the ramp, but is vastly outnumbered when Homicide and Sonny Siaki come out. Once again, the victim of a vicious multi-man beatdown, Xavier gets little sympathy from commentary, who suggest that those who live by the sword also die by it. Joey Styles and Taz quickly become more invested, however, when their announce table becomes involved, a copycat of assaults, many of which Xavier took part in himself. Sonny Siaki sets up his former tag team partner for a huge powerbomb, only for Loki to come out from the back. The first time he has got involved in this Hustle civil war, he comes between Xavier and the table, and he stands stoic. He gives nothing away and simply says, "Enough." Sonny Siaki drops Xavier to the floor, Homicide wondering why Loki is standing up for Xavier when he chose to leave the group. Homicide didn't understand why Key had chose now to break his silence, but his presence alone had halted the attack. Key walked away, Homicide following behind him, but still Loki very much giving little away. In the back, we see Loki coming through the curtain, Jade trying to get answers following his first interaction with his fellow Hustle mates since November to Remember. Loki was straight to the point with his answer, calmly telling Jade, "I'm doing what is best for the Hustle." Loki then walked off as we headed to another part of the building. Homicide was everything but calm when the cameras caught up with him, throwing things around as he reacted to more uncertainty within the group that he has led for the last 10 months. Homicide bumped into Hustle associate Paul Heyman as he stormed through the back, even going off on the man who was behind their rise to prominence in ECW. He told Heyman to get out of his way, accusing the chief of ECW of being more interested in protecting CM Punk than backing the group who he had do his dirty work all fucking year. Paul tries to smooth things over, but got himself out of the way when it was clear that Homicide wasn't in the mood to be reasoned with. We then get a dark promo from Raven before the main event, continuing to cut a distant figure since his return to ECW, commenting from afar at his pleasure of seeing Tommy Dreamer suffer. Raven joked that the new ECW was even better than the original because he doesn't even have to be the one torturing Tommy, he just gets to sit back and enjoy the ride. The main event gets a 59C rating, about what I expected from this match. I've just noticed that CM Punk's got an injury there, so I've lost focus a bit there, but CM Punk picks up the victory in 12 minutes 18 with a go to sleep. There was a lot of interference in the match. Corino, Burchill, Anderson all trying to get to Punk. Brent Albright and Chad Collier even things up. CM Punk fights against the odds and gets the win. A 76 for him, a 44 for Richards. This could really ruin our plans. CM Punk stands tall in the ring, having managed to overcome the Extreme Horsemen with the end. CM Punk stands tall in the ring if he's capable of, I didn't quite catch what the injury was, having managed to overcome the Extreme Horsemen with the help of Chad Collier and Brent Albright, raising his ECW World title in the air. The commentators put over the champion, signing off on the show by praising another impressive performance by him. The night wasn't done there, however, as the lights went off before the show went off the air. Taz said that they could see the shape of somebody in the ring, wondering who it could possibly be. When they came back up, Kevin Fertig and Shelly Martinez stood in the ring, the former with his hand wrapped around the throat of CM Punk. Fertig hit the ECW World Champion with a huge chokeslam, sending him crashing down into the canvas. Kevin Fertig and Shelly Martinez standing tall in the ring for the ending of CyberSlam, sticking their tongues down each other's throats like they always do, over CM Punk, who lays motionless in the ring. So it's a 58C-. I had hoped that the main event could get us a C. I expect always good things from CM Punk. Obviously, there's only one thing to think about coming out of that, and that's the CM Punk injury. I don't know how serious it'll be. I'll probably stick it on the end of the video. Little Guido turning heel with Chuck Palumbo as his muscle. More tension within the hustle, but again, the only thing that I can think about coming out of that show is, will CM Punk be fit to compete going forward? We definitely need him. Without him, it is a pretty weak roster, and I guess we'll find out soon enough. And here is the message: injury for CM Punk. CM Punk is reported to have sustained a grade 1 AC joint separation while wrestling last night. Initial reports are sketchy, but it is believed he will not take time off. He will work through the pain. So it's only the next 2 weeks that CM Punk will be out for. If we just don't use him on the next 2 episodes, he'll probably be okay to wrestle on the final show of the year, which probably suits me anyway. He generally only wrestles once every 3 or 4 weeks. So CM Punk really is fine, not as bad as we feared, and we can go on without changing our plans too much.